Brothers and sisters in every corner of the world, sons and daughters created in the image of God, Pope Leo XIV has spoken with a heart full of deep reflection, compassion, and concern for the future of humanity. On this 12th day of May in the year 2025, he stepped forward not merely as a religious figure or head of the Catholic Church, but as a humble pilgrim, someone who shares the burdens and hopes of the faithful. His message was not laced with grand promises or dazzling declarations. Instead, it was honest, raw, and deeply spiritual. He reminded all of us that in these challenging times, filled with uncertainty, pain, and division, we must not lose sight of the one foundation that has always carried civilization, the traditional family. Pope Leo XIV's message struck a profound chord. He spoke not from a place of power, but from the quiet center of prayer, seeking to unite rather than divide, to heal rather than to judge. His words reached out across borders and across languages. Whether someone was sitting in a small remote village, a bustling urban center, or even a hospital bed, his message was the same. The family is the beating heart of society, and it needs our attention now more than ever. The Pope reminded everyone that it is not a coincidence that they heard this message. He called it providence, a divine timing that gathers us in spirit even if we are thousands of miles apart. In this gathering of hearts and minds, he called on all to consider the sacred nature of the family, not as an old idea, not as a forgotten structure of the past, but as a living, breathing miracle of God's design, a place where life begins, where love grows and where values are formed. He expressed sorrow over how the family has been hurt in recent years. There are so many influences today pulling people away from each other, from the screens in our hands to the fast pace of life that often leaves no room for quiet dinners, shared stories, or heartfelt conversations. Yet, Pope Leo XIV does not believe the situation is hopeless. On the contrary, he believes that now is the perfect time to return to the warm embrace of parents, to the laughter of children, to the small daily sacrifices that build strong marriages and joyful homes. He acknowledged that many today are confused, that modern society has sometimes tried to redefine what family is, often in ways that weaken its true purpose. Pope Leo XIV didn't speak with anger or condemnation. Instead, he offered a gentle reminder that the natural bond between husband and wife, open to life and rooted in true love, is not an outdated idea. It is a light in the darkness. It is the soil from which a healthy and compassionate society can grow. According to the Pope, the family is not just a place for rest or routine. It is a sacred institution, a holy dwelling where God's love is first made known to the young, where respect for life begins and where the values of forgiveness, patience, and charity are passed on from generation to generation. When the family is strong, the church is strong. When the family thrives, communities thrive. When the family is under attack, society itself begins to lose its anchor. He spent time in deep prayer before delivering this message. He said he didn't come with a long list of commands. He didn't come to force change or impose guilt. He came with hope. Hope that families can be healed. Hope that wounds between loved ones can be forgiven. Hope that even if your family is broken today, it can begin again. He called on parents to rise in their sacred duty, to be more than just providers, but true guardians of faith, to pass on not just money or education, but character, courage, and love. He asked fathers to be present and strong, to love their wives with respect and gentleness, and to be an example for their sons and daughters. He asked mothers to hold the home with grace, to nourish not just bodies but hearts with wisdom and affection. In this call, he honored both the man and the woman, showing how their unity reflects God's plan for creation. To the youth, Pope Leo XIV had a special message. He knows they are bombarded with ideas and images that often pull them away from family life. He urged them not to be afraid of love, not to fear sacrifice. He told them that real strength is found not in rebellion, but in commitment, that there is joy in building, in serving, in growing together. Pope Leo XIV warned that many today think freedom means doing whatever you want. But true freedom, he said, is found in responsibility. It's found in saying yes to life, yes to love, yes to each other, When we embrace our duties in the family, we are not chained, we are set free, free to love without fear, free to grow without shame, and free to build a future with hope. He called upon all church leaders, priests, bishops and lay ministers to support the family, not just in words but in action, to make room for families in the life of the church, to listen to their struggles, to walk with them in their pain, to celebrate their joys, and to lift them up when they fall. The Pope believes that the renewal of the church will begin in the key home, in the small acts of kindness between spouses, in the bedtime prayers with children, in the forgiveness shared after an argument, and in the quiet strength of parents who do not give up. He did not ignore the suffering. He spoke gently about those who have lost loved ones, who feel alone, who are struggling with separation, divorce, or abuse. He reminded them that they are not forgotten, that God sees their pain, that the church must be a place of healing, not judgment, that even in brokenness there is hope for renewal, that no family is beyond God's reach, and no wound is too deep for His grace. In this message, Pope Leo XIV also reminded governments and societies of their duty. He asked leaders to protect and uphold the family through wise laws and fair policies. He said that when the economy forgets the needs of families, it becomes cold and heartless. That when education forgets the values of family, it becomes shallow. That when media mocks or twists the meaning of family, it confuses the next generation. He urged all to reflect. What kind of future are we building if we do not cherish the very foundation of human life? He pointed to the Holy Family, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, as the model for all families, simple, faithful, and full of love. He said we must look to them in our struggles. That Mary's trust, Joseph's obedience, and Jesus' humble love are not unreachable ideals, but living guides for our own homes. He encouraged all to pray together as families. Even a simple prayer at the start or end of the day can bring peace, strength, and unity. Pope Leo XIV concluded his message with a blessing. He prayed that families everywhere may be strengthened, that homes filled with chaos may find peace, that marriages weighed down by stress may rediscover joy, that children may grow up knowing they are deeply loved, not because of what they achieve, but simply because they are. He asked us to remember that the family is not a burden, it is a gift, not a problem to solve, but a promise to protect. That in loving our families, we learn to love the world, that through the family, we come to understand God's love for us. This message, spoken from the heart, invites us all to return to what matters most. In times of war, confusion, and noise, let us be the ones who bring peace. Let us hold our families close. Let us rebuild what has been broken. And let us believe with Pope Leo XIV that the family is still the greatest light in the darkness. And so, wherever you are, whether you are single, married, young, or old, take a moment to reflect. Take a moment to thank God for the gift of family. And take a step, no matter how small, towards strengthening the bonds that hold us together. For in doing so, we don't just build stronger homes, we build a brighter world.